Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. And Bitcoin is seemingly double bottom at this $9,100 area, and it's looking surprisingly bullish. Now, the reason that I'm saying that is because both times that it has bounced off of this support line, it's risen all the way up anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 towards the upside, especially with this most recent swing looking like it wants to defy this death cross on the 4-hour chart that Bitcoin previously placed. Now, if this actually defies this and kind of defects it, what this would mean is that there's probably going to be a golden cross on the 4-hour. Now, again, this isn't as significant as if it was on the 1-day or the 3-day or something like that, but it would still be really good and healthy for the macro trend of Bitcoin. One other thing that I want to show today is going to be the RSI and the MACD on the 1-day and 3-day chart, because they are showing some very, very good bullish divergence. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this, because there is some very important stuff that I want to talk about. So first things first, guys, this is former support, or really former resistance turned support, and it's still holding as support. Now, I've already talked about this in a previous video, but let me quickly explain why this is still going to be support over here. So over here you can see that this was tested as resistance, tested again as resistance, broke through, used it as consolidation support over here, and ever since then it has continued using this area as support. So now that we know why this is support, why is this holding so well? Well, I think that this is actually going to have to go into some of the indicators and oscillators. Over here on the RSI and the MACD, something that I said I was watching for is lower swing highs, or really higher swing lows rather, on this 4-hour RSI, and that's something that we've continually gotten. It didn't come quite down to where I imagined it, but I think that this really is significant when we move to, say, the 3-day time scale, and we can kind of draw this out and see just how, really well out that this is drawn. So if we're looking at this from the 3-day, what we can see is that this guy is kind of has a very popular trend. I want to go ahead and move this up just a tad bit. But what we can see is that this area on the 3-day chart, and I'll show this on the 1-day as well, is a very common, area of retracement. Anywhere around, I would say, this 45 to 50 range, this little kind of gray area that we have in here. Go ahead and draw like a little circle around this kind of orange line. You can kind of tell that when this guy goes into this relative oversold level up in here, you can see that it very commonly retraces anywhere down to 45 to 50 before going back upwards. Now, this is a very popular trend in a bull market, as we can see from the past scale over here. It doesn't quite work in the bear market because, it's the flip side of things. But in a bull market situation, we saw this guy come up to this area, retrace, come up to this area, retrace, once again, keep coming up to this area and keep retracing to relatively the same area, until this is no longer a thing anymore, again, which is the bear market. I don't want to clutter this up too much, but I hope you guys can kind of see the idea that I'm trying to work at over here, and saying that anywhere in this area could very well be a local bottom for Bitcoin before it wants to head to the upside. And I think that this is one of the things that probably a lot of people don't look at. A lot of people don't like to look at the 3-day chart, let alone the 3-day chart on the, let alone the RSI on the 3-day chart. So something very, important for me, again, this does stand for the relative strength index. While it is not the end all say all, it's definitely something that I would recommend looking at, to at least help your overall macro analysis and kind of get into a fundamental understanding, and really even more so of a historical understanding of where this guy stops. Because if we, even want to just draw this up, it just looks so clean over here. And we can actually draw just like a second line going like this. So my idea is that, this actually is bouncing, and my theory is that this could very well go back up into this oversold territory on the 3-day, which would mean that the coming weeks for Bitcoin are actually going to be pretty bullish. Now, another theory that I had over here is I actually talked about this falling parallel channel and the potential for this being a giant bull flag scenario for Bitcoin. Now, if that is the case, that's actually going to reaffirm my idea that this is going to continue in an uptrend. Another one that I wanted to talk about is that if this actually bounced off of the bottom of this channel, the next place that it would be looking for is the top of this channel being around $11,800. So if Bitcoin can reach all the way back up to $11,800, again, a lot of people are going to be very satisfied. It would make sense as to why it can get up there. And I think even more so, it would be really healthy to kind of get rid of this death cross on the 4-hour. So there's really no reason why I believe that it can't touch this. The only reason, really the only way that I see it failing is that if it crashes here and it's not able to break this level, and all of a sudden, this support line really isn't support anymore, this is still a resistance line, it fails this and then comes back down, which would lead to around $8,300 towards the downside. But I think overall, guys, even on the daily chart, which is something I haven't showed yet, Bitcoin is looking very, very good. Something you can see over here on the MACD is that all this bearish divergence, all this bearish volume that was, increasingly growing is actually gone now. And not to say that it's gone in its entirety, because there's always going to be bears, but you can see that the overall majority of this guy has faded off from the MACD, and we're actually having our first bullish engulfing candle on Bitcoin on the daily chart in quite a long time, probably since, almost at least a month. Over here on the RSI, you can see kind of the same similar situation. It's not going to look quite as clean because this is the daily chart and it's, less of a macro view. But again, the same idea kind of prevails and resides here. So overall, guys, I am actually looking a little bit bullish on Bitcoin over here because of the fact that it definitely does have a good trend about it. We talked about why this is support, why this has been holding. Former resistance turned support, bouncing very cleanly over here. Really, the only kind of nervous thing that I have about Bitcoin moving forward is that if it does fail this area, it would be looking a little bit like a descending triangle. And the only reason for that being is because it double bottomed right here. And then if it's actually having falling resistance, say something like this, you could end up getting some sort of descending triangle formation, which is pretty bearish, which again would lead me to believe that this thing would probably go all the way back to around $8,000 before finding at least any kind of bottom before then. So this is really kind of the only bearish sentiment that I could find in Bitcoin right now. If this ends up being discredited, then I think Bitcoin's definitely going to be very, very bullish, and I think that it could definitely retest some of these upper resistance levels and even previous swing highs if it can actually break out of this falling channel. A measured move out of this falling channel, I mean, it would easily be 14,000, anywhere from 14 to 17,000 would be my, I guess technically my next profit-taking area. But that, with that being said, that's pretty much going to be it for today's technical analysis on Bitcoin. Definitely a very good one, hopefully a very insightful one, and we're able to look at some historical, some indicators, some oscillators, some candle charts, and even some of the EMAs, and kind of combining all of these guys over 3 different time scales to really kind of create this merged overall technical analysis of the macro that is the Bitcoin market. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this video if you really enjoyed it to some friends. It really does help out. But that being said, guys, I hope to see you guys in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.